Hi guys, I'm getting ready for a follow-up doctor's visit and wanted to share a story with you. And you let me know what you think. Last week, I'd taken migraine medication and immediately my whole body had intense pain. It was so bad. I laid down on the couch and I don't know if I passed out or just fell asleep. I woke up having issues with breathing, and my adult son was getting ready to come to work. And he saw me on the couch and asked me what was wrong. And I told him I'm just feeling so horrible. And he said, "Do you want me to take you to the emergency room?" Well, I hadn't thought about going to the emergency room. It hadn't even crossed my mind. It was almost time to go pick up my 8-year-old from school. But I did go ahead and decide to go to the emergency room. He, my adult son, went ahead and took me. He called into work and took me to the emergency room. A little backstory, I'd been having a lot of bradycardia. Normally I have tachycardia. I have Wolf Parkinson White and had already had cardiac ablation, but it did not resolve the issue of tachycardia. So normally I have tachycardia, but recently in the past few months it's moved to bradycardia, running about in the 40s. So when I got to the emergency room, I did let them know that I was having chest pain, and really the reason I was in there was not from the chest pain. It was about a 7 on the scale at 1 to 10. But I went ahead and gave them my symptoms, and yes, I was still showing in bradycardia. Well, I hate the emergency room because I'm there quite often, and I hate the hours spent there just to get fluids and to be watched and then sent home. So I'm very reluctant to go to the emergency room. That's not how I want to spend my days or nights. Okay, so they put me in a trauma room and began to monitor me. Well, a new nurse practitioner came in and she began trying to make jokes and make light of the situation. She told me she was new there and how they stuck her in another room and she likes to be in the hall because she's nosy. Well, I wasn't feeling well and I definitely was not feeling like lighthearted and getting her jokes. I was just annoyed. I was even more annoyed that a nurse practitioner was the one seeing me. I wanted to be seen by an actual doctor. Well, she went about her business. She did monitor me. She was monitoring me. I told my adult son to go onto my dashboard, my medical dashboard, and watch for the blood test that they'd done to come back. I told him once the second one for the heart come back, then we will be able to be released. We know we'll be able to come home. Well, the second one did come and it was okay. I was not having a heart attack. So the nurse practitioner comes in and she lets me know that they're going to go ahead and release me. I'm waiting for them to do the release, and as soon as she told me that they were going to go ahead and release me, my monitor that had been on the whole time in the 40s was set to go off anytime I went below 49. So it was actually dinging the whole time in a low tone. I'm going to make the tone, but it's going to sound stupid. Dong, dong, dong. Immediately when she told me that they were going to release me, my heart rate then dropped into the 30s and began to have a louder sound. Ding, 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 really loud. And she went out and then she came back in and she told me, I called your cardiologist who's in another city and he wants to see you. We're transporting you to that city. Any other doctor would have released me. That nurse, who I was so annoyed with, called my doctor, my cardiologist in another city, and was transporting me to him. Well, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning when I finally got there. And the next day, the cardiologist came and saw me, and he said, well, I've been looking at your stuff, and I don't know what I'm going to do with you. I think I might run a catheter tomorrow in order to see if you have a blockage. Well, again, I was annoyed with the fact that they're going to do a catheter, but I suppose that they were going to do that in order to move on to the actual problem, which is my heart rate. The following morning, he came in, he said, we are going to do the cath and look for the blockage. And I was thinking, well, we'll just get this over with. There's nothing there. The chest pain wasn't the reason I was in the emergency room. It was my heart rate. Well, fast forward, they did the cath, and my doctor came out and said I had an 80% blockage and could have died. Well, this is a story just to tell you that everything lines up. From the nurse, it starts with my son coming and offering to take me to the emergency room, which I hadn't even considered, although I felt horrible. And then it was the nurse practitioner who I was annoyed with. She was the only one to step up and call my cardiologist in another city and have him see me. I'd been to the hospital for these same reasons before, and I was sent home, even with my heart rate in the 30s. That alarm, my heart rate immediately dropping to the 30s when she said she was going to go ahead and just discharge me. She called my cardiologist in another town, and he happened to want to do a catheter, even though my heart rate was the main issue for me, not the chest pain. So everything lined up. And I don't know if you think there are angels, if you believe in God, but so many things lined up. I don't know how all of these coincidences lined up. I still do have, of course, the bradycardia, the low heart rate, and I will be monitored for a pacemaker. But the immediate issue that needed to be taken care of was taken care of due to that low heart rate and everything falling in line. I believe in God and I believe in somebody watching over me, and I think this is a wonderful example of that. And please let me know what you think in the comments and let me know your experiences. Have you been guided or have things fallen in line for you that are beyond explanation? Let me know.